recommendations to record it, so here we are.
We're recording us sitting here.
That's right. I had to close my door. I was like, oh. All right. A few more people will be joining us here in a minute.
Carrie's trying to round up some of the other teachers who are trying to come as part of our team.
Okay, very good.
She should be back. She's a fast walker, so she should be back soon.
Very good.
Are you guys going to come up to New York City or go over to Austin?
We're thinking Portland.
Oh, that's a good city.
I know.
It's a good city. I lived in Portland for a year. I loved it. It's just, it rains a lot. Won't rain when you're there, though.
Of course not. Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't rain in the summer. It's the weirdest thing.
Okay, good.
It rains 7 months, literally a year, and then it doesn't rain in the summer. And I'm like, how is this possible? But it really doesn't.
It's just the dry
It's
season.
the coolest city.
But it stays relatively, it's temperate. Like the temperatures don't fluctuate a whole lot, right?
Yeah, no, if it were 85, people would be freaking out. So it'll be probably like 75 or 80.
Perfect.
I know.
Yeah, and it's just the coolest city.
I like the Powell's bookshop, the really big bookshop that's like a square block.
Yeah.
Only in Portland would like a bookstore be a tourist attraction.
Still, right. I lived right by there.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
There's we won't talk about the fun stuff that's over there. That's for after.
Well, good morning, Jim. Can you hear us, Jim? Maybe.
Shake your head, yes.
I think it froze on him. Sharita, do you want to? Have you introduced yourself yet?
Whom are you talking to?
Sharita.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Sharita Habersham with Oconee Orisa. I serve as the education. I'm sorry, wrong. Let me get some more coffee. I serve as an educational technology specialist, data person. I'm also the computer science endorsement instructor.
I'm glad you're here, Sharita. We met for the first time last week.
Yes, we did.
And then Jim, you're here too. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Introduce?
Yes.
Okay. Hass, you go first. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hass. Any information? Well, I teach math, and I'm excited to learn some more about what y'all are sharing today.
Same. I'm Megan Ogden. I teach English.
Did Amelia already? Yeah, Amelia's already good.
Yeah, we're all good with the economics and the art.
Yeah, got it. Pretty much it.
Very good. There we go. There's a couple more people that are probably going to join, but Holly, did you want to start sharing information? Or?
Sure, I'll start. But I just want to tell you, one of the things I made as a mistake when I first did a live hangout is you are in charge of the window. So you put the cursor around me right now, and that's what'll be filmed. I didn't do that, and so everyone was at the bottom. You might be better than me. Anyway, hi, I'm Holly Clark, and I'm from San Diego, but I'm sitting in the Houston airport right now, getting ready to go to Costa Rica, which is not a bad part of my job. But anyway, and I am a longtime teacher, and I was a director of innovation, and now I work with EdTech Team. And one of the things that I love about EdTech Team is we do these summits. If you've ever been to one, they're great, but they're an hour. Like you go in and you learn an hour of this and you go to another hour. And I wanted to do something different. So I started publishing books, and from those books I wanted to do a different sort of PD, a kind of like game-changing PD, where we took a book that you're interested in, you work with the author. Before you come and work with the author, you have 2 sessions with him getting ready. He gets you like thinking about the stuff that you're going to come to the session with. Then you come spend a whole day deep dive, and I'm kind of referring to dive into inquiry in this instance because you seem interested in that. You spend a day with Trevor. You work hands-on, thinking about the subject matter that you have in your classroom with that deep dive, which sounds like you would probably go to Portland. And then you have 2 coaching sessions after where you say, I'm trying this in my classroom and it's not working. And Trevor kind of helps you change and modify and tweak stuff so that it works. And it's like my big idea in education is that if we can spend some time with that, work with our colleagues, we can really, really make that big change and dive into inquiry. Not only, I don't know if you've read it yet, if any of you have your hand, like it's a good book. It's like a solidly good book. I was reading it on a train and the train stop was coming and I was like, no, don't. Like that never happens to me with education books. I can usually, I like them, but I can put them down. But Trevor is an English teacher in BC, Canada, in Victoria, and they have a really unique and open curriculum there. I think it's on par with like Finland. And so he's been able to do stuff in scaffolding this inquiry that really works. And I mean, the stories he'll tell you when you work with him, like mind-blowing stuff that he's doing. But I see people, they read the book, they go and they try it, and then it doesn't work exactly like in the book. So that's why we kind of developed this masterclass. We want to make book ambassadors of inquiry out of you. We want to make masters of inquiry out of you. And we want this to be something that infiltrates your school system and stays. Not like an hour session that you go to and you go, oh, I learned about the Chrome extension 1 tab. Look at me. And so that's why I started this masterclass thing. And it's because I've been a teacher. I've been in the classroom and I know those 1 hour things. I learn a couple good things, but I try it a little bit and I go to this level. I want to take things to like change level. And I really like if my big plan is we could really change education all around the world because people would see you guys doing it at your school. But one of the things, and the reason why we're doing the 2 after and the two after and the deep dive is that you'll get to work through it. You'll get to try it out. You'll get to like have Trevor help you. And then we're hoping for people like you who want to bring a team, you'll share out what you're doing. You'll become this beacon in Georgia for like, this is how you do it. And Georgia has a lot of beacons. You have your Chromebook Initiative people who were the first and, or no, that was South Carolina. It's right next door. But anyway, I love me some South Carolina and Georgia people too. But anyway, we're hoping that you can become like a beacon of the South for people to come and watch what you're doing. And to have that help from Trevor, who's been doing it for a while. Are there any questions?
No, thank you. That sounds like, as a classroom teacher who's interested in using new things and have tried to use things like inquiry in my classroom, I totally get what you're saying, where like you need that extra support and you implement it and your kids give you pushback because they're not used to it. And you're not used to it, and sometimes like that's kind of where it ends. So it's so cool to me that we're going to front load and backload to kind of sustain it. And like, it is kind of scary to try something new, but like, it makes me feel good that like my natural inclination to like want to do that is like supported by like all these really smart people like across the world. So it's just
international,
like bigger level.
Mm-hmm. There's a lady coming from South Africa to the Portland cohort. So like now you're going to have this team of people that will become people you can reach out to. Another English teacher somewhere else who's like trying it, as well as Trevor, who's an English teacher. And your school district's lucky to have you. You can early on, you can see the impact. That's awesome.
That's exciting. So how does it go? I guess what I want to know is a little bit about logistics. So I know we come to Portland. Our big day would be if we do, if that one is what happens, and we go to Portland on the 20th. What happens? Like, how do we schedule our 2 sessions before and our 2 after? How does that work?
So the 2 before, the last day for the leadership cohort, which is the 2 before and 2 after, to sign up or not sign up, it's apply. We've actually had a few people that we didn't let through because they didn't really say the things that like may change for us. But anyway, April 30th, that ends. So when that ends, we're going to get together as the authors and set up sessions, the 2 before. And we're going to set up several of them. So you pick one that works for you. And that'll get you ready to come. You'll come to the deep dive, whatever city that's in. And then same thing. We're going to look at when people sign up. Maybe there's an English cohort. So there'll be an English cohort of coaching after. So there'll be more than just 2. There's probably going to be like 10 for each author, but you're going to pick which one you go to. And in the case that like you have swim practice and ballet and whatever, and you can't come, we're going to record them so you can be like, oh, I'm going to watch the English one. But we would rather have you in person because we want you to be able to ask questions of Trevor, like, and say, here's what I tried. Here's what's not working. And if it comes to a point where like you can't make it, maybe he schedules something with you during the day. Because I think that's the key, is the coaching after. I'm hoping.
Is the coaching with the Trevor, is it online or is it going to be in person? How is that going to work?
It's going to be online.
Okay, cool. Very
And maybe even if you bring a team, we have one just for your team. I mean, we're open to whatever.
Okay, cool.
And so is Trevor. He's so dedicated to this.
So if 20th, I'm not sure about the date. Sorry, I'm just all over. If we were to go to the July 20th, how much? It's a 1-day deep dive. So I'm imagining we're going to learn a lot. As the school year starts in August, how is that time? Like, is there an earlier one that we could then use all summer to prepare and to plan using that more
An earlier what?
EdTech session. EdTech session.
You mean the afters?
Masterclass.
Like an earlier work one.
Portland is the first U.S. one. Is that what you're asking?
Okay. I was just thinking.
That's why I chose that one.
Gotcha.
Oh, you could come to Melbourne.
Yeah. No, for a day deep dive. No,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
And then we'll take a
Our
super
principal is not going to be down with that one.
Well, I think so you're saying we wouldn't have enough time to implement the things.
Yeah, I was just thinking if it's late July and then we come back for pre-planning, are we going to have enough time to really invest and to really make it good? Yeah, I know the idea.
We're hoping that after the deep dive, you'll have enough to start it. And the other 2 sessions are for when you've tried it a few times and then you come and ask questions. So we're hoping, and we're like, this is new to us too, but we've done enough of these workshops to understand what it takes. So we're hoping on that one deep dive, you leave, you go back like on the plane with your team and you be like, okay, here's what we're going to try. And that you leave with a scaffolded approach to being able to do this for at least 2 weeks in your classroom before needing any kind of coaching.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And Elizabeth, on Monday when we were initially talking about it as perhaps making this a PLC at Cedar, so this would be the focus of that committee, the tech committee for the year. So we could work together monthly, we could share, we could look at student work as that PLC and really figure out what works at Cedar, and then the next year open it up and start expanding out to other folks. What do you think of that, Elizabeth?
Outside. No, I think that's great. I think in order for it to be successful, we're going to need multiple contents and multiple teachers exemplifying what it looks like so that we get whole school buy-in.
Right.
And I think it would be cool. There would be synergy between the teachers because we all teach different subjects. So like the way that you're going to practice inquiry, in an English class versus economics, but they could all inform each other. Like we could build off each other. And I think that's really cool to think of it that way versus just a class by class level.
And that's the importance of PLC and sharing it out. Like one of the things you're going to want to do, and we can talk more about this at the actual deep dive kind of day when we're out having fun after, but you want to be able to share that and keep all those lessons in some place, like a Google site or something, so that people can learn with you and from you when they start theirs.
Well, and it's cool. Like I like the idea of like the actual, like the teaching of inquiry is an inquiry itself. Like we're like, like what's it like to teach inquiry? And then we're like collaborating and learning and like basing our instruction off our evidence. So it's so like metacognitive. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Anyway, so but I guess we're just, and going back to what Elizabeth was saying, I'm hoping that the 2 sessions leading up to our workshop will maybe help us start.
Mhm.
Yeah, they should. Yeah. And what they're, I can only speak for mine, but how I'm, and Trevor's not here, but he's a smart man, very smart. You're going to love working with him. But for me, it's going to be a foundational piece so that you come into the Google Infused classroom and we get down and dirty with it. So when I say foundational, I'm going to be giving like a little homework. Like you need to read these concepts. You need to have these ideas solid so that we can talk more fully about what that looks like. And so I'm sure he's going to do the same thing. It's going to be a little bit of homework, a little bit of getting to know who you are and your needs so that he can put you in groups and figure stuff out. But that part's new for us, but giving PD is not. So so that's how I'm approaching it with my book. Really making sure that people don't come in and go, what do you mean by making thinking visible? They know what I mean by it so that we can get into it now.
That's awesome. I have another question. What, like, for example, we have a couple folks who are really interested, but for whatever reason can't come to the 20th session. Is there a way that we could, like, as part of our team, maybe pay a little extra to have them be in on the Hangouts? Is that going to be?
Yeah,
like,
we can work something out for sure.
We're a PLC. We're working together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd like for them to be a part of the conversation. Not everyone can go to Oregon, but they can still be on board and 100% with.
Yeah, or they can choose go to Chicago and do the deep dive day without you, which would still be okay. I think the way we have it structured, or Austin or New York City. But sure, we can work something out.
Okay.
It'll be new to us, but we'll try anything. I just want to change education or change what a classroom is like.
So I don't know. I think we could work something out. Maybe just talk after we talk to Trevor and he figures out what our needs are. Maybe we can and figure out if there's something we can do with that. But anyway, okay. Well, I appreciate your time, Holly. I feel like I know a lot more what this looks like. I was having a hard time explaining it. So
Yeah, and thank you for doing something like this because I'm trying to explain it on websites and stuff, but it's hard to get this out, this explanation out, So thank you for asking the questions. Are there any other questions?
I'm good. We're good. Cedar is good.
Welcome, Lisa.
Finally found the correct invitation.
I
Thank you.
know. There was like 12. I'm sorry about that. We switched it up on you.
But we have it filmed and you can watch it.
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah. And so Cedar, guys, are you guys going to check out and then the RISA folks can stay on?
Yeah, we're checking out. Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you, Carrie.
Excited to meet you.
Excited to meet you guys.
All right. So the remaining crew here are Holly, Lise, Jim, and Lisa and Sharita and myself. We're all at RISAs, which are regional educational service agencies. And so we serve multiple counties. Like I have 13 counties.
Oh, right. Uh-huh.
Lisa, how many do you have?
18.
18. And Jim, you've got, I still can't hear Jim. Still.
Jim, you might need to restart your computer.
Yeah, still in me. Sorry. Type in the chat.
Happens to the best of us.
I know. I've learned. I just realized I restart my computer before like every Hangout now. Just
Really smart.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tab problem, so I can't do that.
And Sharita, how many do you serve?
I serve 7 counties, one being very large.
Mm-hmm. Do you have Fayette?
No, all of my counties are, with the exception of Putnam, they're very rural. So we come down from right underneath Athens. We do not include Oconee County. Most people think we do, but we go from Putnam all the way over to Lawrence down to Wrightsville, which is Johnson County.
Okay. So one thing we've been exploring as a group when we started last week was offering a statewide online course. that we're trying to build. We used to offer one in the district I supported. We called it Club Tech, and it was during the summer, and it was facilitated by instructional technology. And, you know, we based them on challenges and you complete this challenge and you get a badge and things like that. And so as RESA directors, we're exploring building something like that to have everyone in the state on board. And when the masterclass and inquiry just being a push and a need in the classrooms, I'm wondering how that could fit in with a statewide model. Do you have any ideas, Holly? I know I
think after we do the July 20th and see how it works, I think I'd have a lot of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to try this. Like, this is new for me too. Like, I need to try, see how it works. And then something similar might work where you have like a one-day Saturday thing along with, I think you need the hands-on. I think the online, I don't know though. It might be something. I'm going to start something with sketchnoting and Sylvia Duckworth and how to use sketchnoting with students coming up. And I'm going to try a whole online course for that. So I think I have to defer to answer that question in a month or two, which I'm happy to do. I'm happy to jump back on a call and talk to you more about that. I need to just get in there for a bit.
Well, just what you said just gets me thinking too, because the way it was facilitated, you know, you posted, you left evidence, artifacts, and that might be hard to do in the summer if you're not integrating with students. It's just more about building.
Yeah.
So it might be a blended model where this month you meet at your RESA if you're a part of this cohort. The next month you're online, posting your evidence, sharing there, so that they don't have to leave their districts quite so often. So, Lisa, Sharita, do you guys have any ideas?
I think that would probably work for a lot of hours. We're just trying to get folks on board with a lot more of the online learning for, you know, with their professional development. And we're a very large district area-wise, so, you know, a lot of times we do things in different locations, so folks have to travel less. I mean, depending on the size of the group, that may not work. But even with that, our RESA is not necessarily centrally located with all of our districts. So a lot of times we have districts that we're able to work through and use their facilities. So we're more centrally located. So I definitely think a blended model would work, you know, in our situation.
Have you guys heard of HyperDocs? I mean, you must have. I mean, it's part of this thing, right? So HyperDocs, have any of you taken their online course?
No.
Not yet.
Okay, so they do an online course. I think it's $149 or something. I can't remember the price. And I took it the other day, last session. They did in April, I think. No, March. Whatever. It was the best online course I've ever taken. And they distributed it not using an LMS, using a HyperDoc. And it was like, I'm going to use that model for almost everything that I do moving forward for online stuff. So it might be worth it. I think they have one starting. They could have one starting in May. And you would just go look at, like, put a HyperDocs online course. One of you should take that and see just how just for the HyperDoc as an online course scenario.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think you would find a lot of rich information there on how to do a really effective online course.
Okay.
Is this HyperDocs? DOCS?
No. Let me look real quick.
Welcome back, Jim.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yay. Yes.
Okay, good.
And it could be that. I just don't know. So here's the HyperDoc. I guess it starts June 20th. So I'm going to put this link in for you.
Okay.
Literally one of the best online professional developments I've ever had, all through a HyperDoc. And I learned so much about HyperDocs I didn't know, which is really, really sad, because these are some of my best friends now. And my mind was blown at the way they described it.
Okay.
And the way that they pushed it out. So there you have, there's the thing.
Thank you. With the HyperDoc course, Holly, was there also a place for folks to share? Like, was there a platform for them? Okay.
Yes, and the way they did it using like HyperDocs for it was just brilliant.
Okay, all right.
I was shocked.
That might be
Girl,
something to
smart lady.
Very good.
And honestly, a HyperDoc course like that, putting something together your own like that is HyperDocs I've seen revolutionize schools.
Yeah, I was seeing that too, and it makes it. And one thing that we all want to do is make education more student-centered and student-focused.
Yeah,
and that pushes it onto the students. Once the teachers are willing to give that control up.
And I can't imagine doing an inquiry without a HyperDocs.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Or a Google Infused Classroom, which is making your thinking visible. Now that you've done, like, the three of them go together.
Okay. Cool. And is that a week long, or how long does that?
I think it's a month. And I took it, and it was every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
And then we just met once a week for a month, and then the rest was all done on these docs. It was crazy.
You know what the next one is going to open?
June 20th, it looks like. Unfortunately, it's a little far.
Yeah,
but
closed.
Yeah.
It's what?
It's closed.
Oh, I might have gotten like a 2016.
Okay.
Don't worry. Well, I can get it open for you. But oh, that says, oh, this is in Irvine.
Yeah, this is
sorry.
2016.
Yeah. I will send to Carrie a link to the next one, which I think may be May 1st. If it weren't 5:26 at home, I would just call Lisa, but it is so.
Well,
but I'll get that too.
Thank you. That could be all like a little trifecta, all fitting together. So
yeah.
Risa, folks, did you have any other questions for Holly? I know she's got to catch a flight.
I don't. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to catch back up on the portion I missed, and then I may have some questions for the RISA folks that heard it, or either I'll join back in at 11. But
okay,
it's all very exciting. I'm always looking for new ways to to share and to, like you say, to focus more on student-centered type of work, getting teachers to make that shift.
Yeah, and I was saying this, and you'll see this if you watch it, if you watch the Hangout, but I was saying that for me as an educator, I was in the classroom for 20 years. I got, like PD, we all know it's, first of all, going to Google Summits can be a step up that's a little more exciting, but an hour of this and an hour of this and an hour of this, you don't walk away. You walk away with like 2 things you want to try. I want lasting, sustainable change. And that's why we're doing this deep dive and these 2 on either end of it, because I want the coaching that brings lasting change. I'm not in this to make money. I'm not in this to sell. I'm in this to make school better for kids, you know?
Amen.
And it's not right now.
No. Sometimes you go in and I do purposely every semester I pick a student and I tell them I'm doing it, but I follow their schedule for that day. And my background's high school. So I follow that child all day long. And by the end of the day, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Some of these teachers are brilliant teachers.
Yeah.
Just the confines of what they are asked to do is, it's tough. So yeah, you gotta get in.
Especially high school.
Mm-hmm. It's rough.
Oh, and like I get to see the world. And so I get to see what they do in New Zealand and what they do in British Columbia and the things that other people are doing and getting better results than us. And I understand they have a different environment or whatever, but without the homework, without the crazy AP, without the without giving kids the ability to be curious and to learn and unlearn and relearn and do school the way it should be done. Anyway, sorry, you'll get me. I won't be able to keep you.
We're getting you ready for
Feels like you're going to miss your flight.
Well, thank you, Holly. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks.
Well, thanks. And I hope to see and hear more from Athens, Georgia soon.
All right. Thanks, Holly.
And all the Georgia counties.
Yes.
Anyway, okay.
Thanks, Holly.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Bye.
Jim and Lisa and Sharita, is there? I'm going to stop the broadcast, but we can keep discussing. So I'm going to
Okay.
stop the recording.